Happy Monday. Donnie Baker, LPR Sound Foundations. I'm happy to be with you today. Today, I want to talk to you about starting your own podcast. Equipment you might need, things you might need to know, things you might need to do, things you might need to grow into starting your own podcast. Look, everybody has a podcast. Everybody wants a podcast. You, my friend, have knowledge and experience that other people are looking for. They want to know what your knowledge is on a subject. They want to know what your experiences is on a subject. They want to know you. They definitely want to know you. So the thing to do is you have to tell them. You have to put it out there so that they can find you. You have things that people want to know about. Put it out there. Let's just do that. So I want to talk to you today about kind of what it takes, how to get started. I'm also going to give you look, there's a free download, okay? It's a whole checklist and explanation of apps that you can use for free, apps you can use, paid apps, things like that, things you can use that are not expensive to start your podcast. There's a whole list. Go to learnprorecording.com/podcast. It's that simple. Go grab it. It's free. And then once you get that, we can discuss some other things about starting your podcast. So let me tell you, one of the first things you should do, come up with an idea. Come up with something that you think is interesting and other people might want to know about. Then give it a catchy name. Give it something that if somebody does a search, they know exactly what they're going to get when they click on your link. You know what I mean? Come up with a name. Make sure it's catchy, but also do a little research and make sure no one else is already using that name so you don't confuse your audience with the other audience. So there's that. Plan some episodes. You know what I mean? Come up with an idea. Look, they don't have to be long. Particularly, I prefer shorter. Under 30 minutes. 10 minutes if it's a motivational kind of thing. You know what I mean? Just be you and explain things. Look, I don't know if you guys know this, but on this podcast, and yes, I do consider this a podcast, even though it's got video. We talk about that in the publication. But even though this one has video, it doesn't have to have video. I also send an audio version of this podcast to Spotify and Apple Music, things like that, wherever you can download a podcast audio, this is there. So if you guys are not watching me on YouTube, you're not watching me on any other platform, and you're just listening to me, welcome and thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate you. So yeah, look, kind of plan your episodes. Have something interesting to talk about. Don't just go on there. Even if you've got what other people might consider something you shouldn't talk about, there's someone out there that needs to hear that. There's someone out there that's looking for your opinion, someone out there that's looking for your experience and your knowledge. So that's what podcasting is about. It's a great place to share with everyone. I mean, my podcast here at LPR Sound Foundations is to help you and others grow their business as an audio engineer, music producer, studio owner. Podcasting is a great asset to add to your recording studio. Even if your recording studio is you in a garage or you in a basement, if you can add podcasting to your arsenal, that's just a whole nother form of income stream, man, that you may not have thought about tapping into. I mean, honestly, if you've got an audio interface with a microphone, my friend, you have a podcast ready to go. Start selling it. $25. I mean, whatever, dude. It's $25 you didn't have yesterday. That's the way I look at it. Anyway, that's how I look at it. I mean, during the shutdown time, when the world shut down, we went a little bit bigger in our podcasting venture. We brought in some equipment and some ways to bring in guests without having guests come to the studio, because no one could go anywhere and nobody could interact with other people, if you know what I'm saying. So we did that, and now we still use this gear. We still do other podcasts for clients, as well as my own podcast. We do podcasts for other clients. Some are really big. Some are just a guy talking and telling you his life story, which is awesome because, I mean, there's tons of, don't take this the wrong way, but there's tons of older individuals that I love hearing their stories. I mean, I love hearing how they grew up and where they grew up and what they did and how they did it and were they successful, were they not successful, what mistakes did they make? Dude, it's just, there's so much information that you have that there are people that are waiting to share your information. They want to know what you know. I mean, this is how it works. You know what I mean? So, talking about equipment, I mean, like I said, you don't need a lot of stuff. You could just go all in and spend a bunch of money, but do you need to? No. There was a guy, and you'll see in the publication that when you download it, there was a guy that we worked on, but he had 130 podcasts. They were all like 5 to 10 minutes, but he recorded them all on his phone while he was sitting in traffic on the 405 freeway in Los Angeles. And yeah, he had the windows down in his Prius. I don't know. But his audience wanted to hear what he had to say. He's a motivational guy, as was. He's still around. He's a motivational guy, and people loved his podcast. They love his podcast. He's still doing it, and he's still recording it from his phone. I mean, that's his way of doing it. That's how he does it. He gets these inspirations, and he wants to share with his audience. And that's how it works. You have something that your audience is looking for, so let me help you get it out there. Let me help you share with the world your knowledge and experience. Okay, another thing, yeah, you can have fancy artwork for your thing, some thumbnails and things like that. You don't have to, man. Your audience, you can build into that. I mean, that's not really a big thing that you have to have. It's nice. I mean, dude, you can use Canva for free to make yourself a little thumbnail and put up for YouTube. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. Just get a little creative with it. It's free. It doesn't cost. It takes you a couple minutes, but hey, get it done, man. Make some catchy eye work, some eye candy, they call it. You know what I mean? So if you want to attract your audience, make your thumbnail attractive to your audience. Now, we can go deep on learning how to use YouTube. We can go deep on learning how to use your camera and your microphones and your whole setup like I've got here. Soon, one day, I'm going to do a tour of we're going to start a series where we do a tour of each room here at my studio, and including this podcast studio. This is not a green screen behind me. This is actually a studio behind me. You can just get a green screen. You can record your podcast in Zoom for free and put up that little thing behind you. It's endless. It honestly is endless, okay? You need to set up some hosting and distribution. There are free sites that do that. There are paid sites that do it. It's all in the publication that you're going to download at learnprorecording.com/podcast. So that's all in there. That information is all in there, complete with links and everything, how to get there. Record some episodes. I would suggest getting a few episodes ahead. Maybe before you go start to distribute, maybe get 4 or 5 in the can, as we say, and ready to go, so that you can schedule these to go out. That way you're not pressured to get these out on time. Like I'm recording this one right now, and it's not going out for 2 weeks. So there's that. This is a lot of, when we do these kind of things too, keep in mind that you don't want to talk about current events, because if somebody hears current events or a date or something like that, then they're going to know that, oh, he recorded that 2 days ago. He recorded that 2 weeks ago. He recorded that 2 months ago, whatever, So yeah, be careful with that. I try to avoid that. You know what else I do is I also avoid trying to do edits. I don't like a lot of edits on a podcast. If I say and dude, that's me. And y'all like me, and if you don't like me, then you don't like me. If you don't like me saying and then go somewhere else. I say and a lot because I try to do these live. I try to make it as live and personal as possible because I want to help you grow in what you do. Be it a recording studio, audio engineer, freelance audio engineer, music producer, what have you. I mean, that's my basics of what I teach because that's what my experience is. This is what I know. This is what I do. This is all I've ever done is audio engineer, music producer, studio owner, and podcast guy, podcast doer, I guess. I don't know, whatever. So yeah, get a couple episodes in the can ready to go, and then schedule them to go out. That way you're not pressured. Like say you want to take a week off and go to the beach or something. Or you want to take a vacation. You're still going to have your podcast going out consistently. That is one of the big keys, is to be consistent. To be consistent in your message, be consistent in your what you're talking about, the thing that you're giving to your audience. Your audience comes to you because they want to know a thing. And if you deviate from the thing, they can be like, well, wait a minute, you were talking about knitting last week, now you're talking about golf. I don't get it. I'm not here to talk about golf. I want to know about knitting. So be consistent in your content as well as your schedule. That's a big thing if you want more success as a podcast. I mean, dude, people do get paid to do this. People do get paid for podcasts. There's multiple ways to get paid to do podcasts. We can talk about that on another day. There's affiliate marketing. There's sponsors, things like that. There's ways to get paid, and we do work on some podcasts that are sponsored, and they have a healthy budget. They also pay more to have more production. It's actually a TV show that they call a podcast, but because of their sponsors, they're able to afford to make a TV show as a podcast, if you will. I mean, look at Joe Rogan's podcast. I mean, he's sponsored all over the place. He makes a ton of money doing that, and it's well done. You know, the production's good, the cameras are nice, and the lighting's great, you know, and so that's what it kind of takes. But you don't have to do that. My point is, dude, if y'all want to laugh, go back and look at some of my old podcasts from a couple of years ago. You go search YouTube for Learn Pro Recording or LPR and go see some. Yeah, it's funny. There's some funny stuff. But I learned. I started and I did it. And I'm getting much better on camera. I'm better at talking to you instead of looking at my notes and, you know, that kind of thing. But I do have notes right here. I've got a laptop over here with a calendar open so I can see what's coming up and what I'm going to be talking about next. So, but I try to talk to you. And that's a big thing with a podcast. It's difficult because I'm talking to a little black circle, which is the lens of my camera, you know, and yeah, I got a light right here. There's a light there. And, you know, there's another light over here, but you know, okay, I try to make it look cool, but, you know, at the same time, I'm not a camera person, definitely. But I learned, and that's the thing. I took classes. I paid for a coach to help me build my stuff and to put it together and set my camera properly, because I'm not a camera person, but, you know, I'm an audio guy. So, but it got done, and this has been years in the making. But I think it's getting better. You guys can let me know in the comments if you think it's getting better, but it is. But the thing is, you have to start. You have to just do it. Because like I said, there are people out there that are looking for your knowledge and experience. Some may be even willing to pay for that knowledge and experience. I'm just saying, okay? So you can also go a little bit deeper and you can create a website for your podcast so you can engage in your audience, have your audience engage with you via more than just comments on a YouTube video or comments on a podcast, an audio podcast, you know what I mean? So build a website. They're free. There's tons of free places where you can build a landing page where people can learn about what's coming up next in your podcast, and they can get on your email list, and you can let them know what's coming and when it's coming. I mean, a lot of you guys here are on my email list, and you will get notified when the next podcast is coming or when the next class is coming or when the next training is coming. You get that because you want it. If you don't want it, unsubscribe. Not a big deal. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying that you can build this from nothing into something that your audience is looking for. That's the thing. You have to engage with your audience. You know what I mean? Ask them to give reviews. Like I frequently ask you guys to leave comments. Leave comments on YouTube. You know, give me a review on Apple Podcasts. Give me a review on Spotify. Let me know that you like what the content is. Let me know you like what I'm giving. You know, if you don't, let me know and I won't do it no more. You know what I mean? If there's something that you want to see, let me know in the comments. If there's something that you want to learn about that you think I have knowledge and experience about, let me know in the comments. I mean, that's what the simplicity of a podcast is, because I'm engaged with you, my audience. I may not know you personally. I may not even know that you're there. But for me, you are there. And I'm talking to you. Yes, I'm talking. Paul, you know I'm talking to you, man. Sally, saw what you did last week. I'm just kidding, man. Stop. Don't get mad at me. But that's what I'm talking about. You have to engage with your audience like your audience is there with you, you know? So let's wrap this up. I want to talk to you next week. I'm going to go a little bit deeper into the podcast, the technical part of it. We're going to talk about editing your podcast and getting it ready to go out. Things that you do, things that I do to get my podcast ready to go. Because I use video, I do something a little bit different. But if you were just cutting audio, it's a little bit simpler to edit your podcast. I mean, you might not want the ums and uhs in there. There are tons of podcasts out there that they do take the ums and uhs out. and I will share with you a specific software that I find is it's kind of AI-ness, whatever. It'll take out the ums and uhs automatically. It's AI is what it is, and I'm not a big fan. I don't like it. I don't like how it, because I'm on video. I don't like how it chops up the video and it makes the video choppy, because I say and a lot. Y'all know that. So hey, listen, I'm gonna get up out of here. I appreciate you guys hanging out one more time. Here is the link to go download the free PDF that's got a lot of this information in there, a lot of links on where you can buy your microphone. They're all Amazon links, but I share with you some cheap microphones, some middle microphones, and some expensive microphones, which you don't need. I mean, if you've got a laptop, you can use just the microphone on your laptop. If you got your phone, I mean, like I said, there's that guy that had the phone. I mean, there's the download though, learnprorecording.com/podcast. There's that guy that used his iPhone to record his podcast, and he's got literally thousands of followers, and yeah, he gets paid. And it's not, I did the edits. He would send them to me to do edits. Take this part out. I didn't mean to talk about that part. I don't need to hear when I yelled at the guy in the other car because he cut me off. That kind of stuff. He would give me these kind of notes, man. But that was what I did. I edited like almost 130 episodes for this guy, and they were good, man. They were really good, but the sound quality wasn't awesome. It didn't have to be though. It's all about his content. His audience is looking for that content. So think up your content, get ready to create your podcast, come up with a catchy name, make a great looking thumbnail that you can use for your YouTube videos on Canva for free. And look, there's the biggest thing is you have to just go do it. Just go do it. Get it done. I'm waiting for your content. There are other audience members out there waiting for your knowledge and experience as content. Please give us your content. Please let us know about something that you know a lot about. That's what we want to know. So I appreciate you for hanging out with me. And we will see you guys on Wednesday on the blog post. And I'll see you next week where we're going to talk about podcast editing. Have a great week. My name is Donnie B, and I am out. Peace.